oscillate as much? Would that speed up the reaction or not?
I don't know. You can't. Be careful.
Yeah, I know. We ran into that problem earlier.
Unless you want to rest on that.
There's nothing saying that, well... I think... Why can't you just put it across sideways down there? There's Andy after he dropped his little personal book. Here's a simulation of toxin control flow. We have to have some pretty experienced coxswains, Russ, if we're going to roll a lot of boats, but...
Stay louder.
Will we disrupt you if we roll at the far end of the tank?
Do you mind the water being on?
No.
We're going to see how much is in the water. That's how much is in the water. So just jiggle it. How's it feel now?
Much lighter.
Okay, so you understand what's happening? We're gonna do this demo. How does it feel to jiggle back and forth? This is without any of our dynamics in it. Just how does it feel to jiggle back and forth? Go ahead, jiggle it. Easy, hard. Okay, then I'm gonna turn on the pumps and do the same experiment. Here goes. Okay.
Good call.
Okay, start jiggling.
Starting to get harder now. Whoa, way harder.
So I think this might be the effect that people say the boat balances better when it's moving fast. Because the skeg damps out the motion a lot more when it's moving fast.
It also gives people a lot more time to react.
It gives you more time to damp any tipping that you have is damped out a lot. So if you just sit on that and try and balance it, you can probably do it almost, can't you?
Sitting on?
Yeah. Just without any of our dynamics. Now, if it was still, could you do that? I don't know.
Part of the problem is that this gave out.
Yeah, right. They have a flat edge there.
You know, if you had, you had like the cruise shell and had like a keel that sucked up into it as it got faster.
The dynamics of this thing is just this damping, the sideways motion. It's highly damped. If I try to wiggle it back and forth like it's hard, if I'm careful and try to wiggle it the right direction as I twist it, then I can do fine. Now if we can get the dynamics, let's see how fast this can respond. Seems like it can respond pretty fast as far as that goes. So it might be that if we, the moment of inertia, maybe it's too large. I feel like I'm swinging, it's hard for my wrist to twist it back and forth.
Why don't you try moving in one of the weights, see what happens.
I'm just thinking what happens if I take it out of the water. How I push back and forth. I'm pushing it back and forth, feeling the inertia. Feels comparable.
It's about the same, you're saying?
Yeah, it feels about the same. So I think what we might want to do is move these weights in actually.
What makes them bigger?
Maybe make them bigger. Static correction is about 0 right now. If we put these weights down here, move them way back. So if I tip this whole thing, he doesn't care at all.
Just a
Happy
standard
tip.
keel.
It's happy tip, it's happy here, it's happy over here. But the reason it's happy is because the center of lift is behind the hinge. So if I try to, so if you lock the boat in position, Rob, when you lock the boat in position, I think you have to actually get back there. And maybe put your foot or your underneath the water or something like that. Okay, if you lock the boat in position, then tip this sideways, it'll pop back in. Pops back in. And if you tip the boat sideways, leave it sideways like that, tip it off, pops back in. Tip it off, pops back in.
It's just like a regular keel.
It's like a caster. Keels don't have hinges. This is a caster effect without any of the gravitational correction. When we move this weight out here, forward, then we get this gravitational correction. It puts a torque on your hands. And when you level it out. Now unfortunately it looks like it also messes up the dynamics, does it not? Like right now, how does it feel?
Unstable a little bit.
Unstable. We're going to push this back in. How does it feel? More stable or what?
More stable, but not
Okay, so
perfect.
when we add this gravitational correction, it gives a steady state. It gives a if you hold the boat at an angle and it's dynamically stable, it holds it, makes a correction torque, which you have to fight. But the whole dynamics of the thing is totally different, it looks like, is it not? How does it feel right now, just in that position? Messed up. And now when I put the weights in, I move the weights all the way in, now how does it feel? Well, it's unstable, but there's no funny, that weird dynamics isn't there.
Well, it was stable before. It was just sitting there before.
So in terms of how it feels to be on this boat is like a boat with a rigid keel practically. That's what you're saying, it's like a rigid keel. Except for the dynamics of it are different because it has this degree of freedom. Which doesn't seem, it's not very coupled because we have almost no correction. Now what if we move this weight out? This gives a negative gravitational correction. So when it's tipped this way, it tries to tip more this way. But in terms of the dynamics of it, it doesn't seem so bad. In terms of just these growing oscillations, it doesn't seem, even though this is the wrong static correction, it doesn't seem to have this instability problem.
But your weight is now as far as it was the other way.
But it's also on a different side. Putting weight out here does a different thing. This is a crazy thing. This weight out here doesn't do that. It's an analogous thing. You know, this coupling of the steering and the inertia. If you get in a car and you put your hands on the steering wheel, have you ever done this? Put your hands on the top of the steering wheel and go like this and shake it and see how the car feels. Then take your hands and put them on the bottom of the steering wheel and shake it and see how the car feels. And it feels very different. The reason is because when the car moves, it swings your body, swings your arms, swings the steering wheel. And it's exactly the opposite effect down here as up here. It makes the car handling feel totally different, but the car handling is the same. It's just when the car handle moves, you moves the steering. So this is must be something like the same thing. Putting this weight in the back, it gives the opposite sign for both turns. But it seems like in terms of this growing instability this time is not bad at all. Although the static direction is wrong, the dynamics seem like they're good when it's out here.
What if it was out there as far as it gets out there on the bottom?
So now we put them both out. Let's say we put them both out the same side. So the static direction is, now the static direction is about 0, right? Because they're both about the same distance out. You want to feel it?
It's happy there.
It's happy at every angle. So the static direction is about 0. Now try the dynamics. Try to swing it. Try to oscillate and see how, not so much. Small, try for small motion.
You got a viscous damping. Then
Separate from that, let me feel it. He doesn't have this feeling of this growing instability.
when it gets to a point.
Say again? Oh, there it goes. Whoa. There's a little bit of static direction now. Now we're going to increase the gain a lot if we move the center of left forward. If we put the center of left right on the axis, we have infinite gain in terms of the static direction. Because just an infinitesimal torque will turn this. But now this is starting to get this weird dynamic, it seems like. It goes over here, and this thing swings that way, it brings this over here, and this thing swings that way. It's not too bad. Now we add a little more static direction. It gives a righting moment eventually. This side it gives a righting moment eventually. That's his bearing friction. The bearing friction is pretty low. It's kind of slow to respond.
You move that back weight in, it'll be quicker.
Well, it'll be like,
Moving the front out.
kind of.
Time to engage some stuff.
See, my inclination would be to put bigger weights in closer.
So move those in and see if it
I'll move these in, then we get a bigger static direction.
takes less time dynamically to recover.
Then we get this thing gets much worse. Goes out. That growing instability doesn't grow so badly. Now, if we don't want to add a lot of weight, what we do is add height to this, so these weights are up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this dynamic effect we have is a product of this height and this distance.
You want to stick a rubber ducky in and figure out how fast the tanks are going? Or what?
This isn't bad. When it gets big motions, it gets pretty bad. It's not. You tip it a little bit, it comes back.
What is T and W?
What?
What is T and W?
On the screen? Oh.
Now another degree of freedom.
W is zooms in, T backs out.
See, one of the characteristic times in this thing is that if this thing is level, let's say it's totally out of the water, and you tip this like this a little bit, this has a certain characteristic time of falling down, which is very slow. I think we could increase that characteristic times by taking this whole thing and tipping it down a little bit.
Increase the time.
Decrease the time, increase the speed. If you raise that end, lift that end up about. How much can you lift it up?
I can stand up and pull it out of the water.
Unfortunately, that pulls it out of the water. Let's say we want to do that and not pull it out of the water. Let's see how that goes. Just feel how that is. Is that any different? If there's a tipping, is it any different?
I can't really tell.
Can you just slide those weights back up every now and then?
You're hitting down there. Back it up towards you.
Okay. Is there a piece of masking tape or anything around? Scotch tape?
I don't know. You can take this out of the water and take the wing up and put it on the other side.
Too much trouble.
So what are you looking for? A change in reaction time?
So let's say we take this thing all the way out of the water. Let's take it all the way out of the water and I'll show you what you mean. Pick it up. Let's get up. Let's get up. Stand up on the side. I'll show you the effect.
Can you stand up from here?
Get up. We'll get all the way out. We'll stand up on the side of the dock. Okay. Here's the boat. Let's say in the straight ahead configuration. And the way this thing works is if you tip the boat this way, that front wing falls down, turns the keel, straightens the boat. The question is, what's the characteristic time? Whoa.
Who's Andy?
What's the characteristic time in that relaxation? Well, you just tip it a little bit. This thing doesn't swing down very fast.
Do you increase the mass here?
Still doesn't swing down very fast, right?
You swing faster?
Well, let's say if you put an infinite mass there, it won't swing infinitely fast.
Yeah, I know falling bodies don't have anything to do with mass.
So the angle, somehow one of the characteristic times in the system has to do with how tipped down this is. It's sort of a singular configuration. There's something special about it being level.
Well, what if you had this moment arm come out like this? You're saying you'd make it quicker?
No, it's not where it tips out relative to this, because this is all just part of one rigid body. It doesn't matter the shape of this. What matters is the angle of this hinge. Right? It wouldn't matter if this was tipped down or up. It's only where the mass is. So if you took this and tipped it down, then it's got this characteristic relaxation time, independent of whether it's tipped or not. Whereas when you have it level, you've got a characteristic relaxation time of infinity. You getting it, bud? You getting it? Yeah. So it might be that that's one way to speed it up. Is to have it tip down like this. So when you put the whole thing together with this and the water and the boat, you can't isolate these phenomena one from the other. But in your mind, you can think, oh, this has its own dynamics out here on land. And this thing interacting with the water has other dynamics, even if this is rigid. And then last, this thing moves around with the boat. Now, if you understand each one separately, it doesn't mean you understand the whole. So that gives you a way of thinking about it. Like the caster on the grocery cart. You know, you think that you want to be able to drive behind the axle. You put in a sudden turn here, the immediate effect. On the one hand, this thing gives a positive immediate effect. If we can make this mass bigger.
If we turn it like this, we come back. If we took that weight off, if we took that mass off and turned it, it would move quicker.
If it's tipped down like this.
When we tip it like this, then it make the hinge.
The bigger the tip, the faster it'll go, right?
And if you took that mass off, then it'd go quicker, wouldn't it?
Well, somewhat, but remember there's this other effect with this mass. When you suddenly tip this, the mass tries to stay still in some ways they do. Just the act of this mass being here, trying to stay still, tips it, turns it the way you want it to turn. This is actually fruitful to think about this here. I think we should do theory next.
Want to move the center? On the left?
Oh, you want to move the center left forward a little bit? Let's do that.
Get the red button and turn it off.
The center of lift.
First thing I want you to see, it doesn't center itself. It's holding it straight. It doesn't center itself anymore. Wild machine.
Move the front forward. Move the front this way. I don't think the axis is lined up with the water flow. Wow.
Let's try static correction. Hold it to one side. Not so far. Okay, now static correction is there. It's pretty big. It's not. But is it stable? Let's try straight ahead. Hold it level. Rigidly level. Barely, huh? So drive the center lift almost on the axle. Like, really lock it up there somehow. Okay, ready? I'm going to preserve this and see if it comes back. You got to hold it more solid than that. Okay, now preserve it. Barely corrects itself. Like a ball. So we've got this thing almost on the center of the lift. Right? There's almost no. On the other hand, if you tip it sideways, quickly, just hold it sideways. It's a big correction. Try bigger so you give an angle than it was before.
Let's see what the initial response is. So whack. Ready? Correct.
Well, now it's even better.
That's more delayed, isn't it? See that delay time?
Yeah, it's too big a delay time.
So, and then look out.
Wow, track control. Good job, sir. That was good.
Is it balancing itself? Are you touching it? Promising, huh? Ready? Get it on the everything.
What?
Is it touching the metal or the wood? Ready? Go.
2, 3. Oh, it almost makes it through.
Let's get a little less static correction.
Weights have been
I think the metal's bent. The metal's bent. Look at the moment.
That's our keel.
No, look at the hinge.
Still pretty small. Want to try sitting on it?
Sit on it.
Try and make your body rigid.
I'm not gonna like smash my face.
Get your fingers out of the way.
There's a chicken. Lying as usual.
So I can balance. I can. Whoa! My balance. It's like. Adjust your concept as well, right? Okay, lean more to the left. Go the other way.
To the left?
No, lean more to the, let's do this. Yeah, that's good. You should be balancing like balancing a bicycle, actually. If you have your hands on this, you steer this like you're trying to balance a bicycle.
Hey.
The deeper that's in the water, the more force it provides. Right?
The deeper what's in the water?
The deeper it is in the water, it's got to provide more force. What if, how about this? What if the fin were here, you got a big rod up to an axle?
Deep in the water.
See the difference? If the fin was right where it was, this whole thing was 4 feet in the air. Provide more force. Right? Because it's a torque, it's a moment. Arc cross.
More radical. Water.
No, we tried to calculate it by watching your piece of paper.
That's what I first thought. You were like looking. I was waiting for a
Ducky.
ducky to come through or something. And nope, you sacrificed the address book.
Here's my bike.
Figure out the speed of the water.
I'm trying to balance it myself. Why don't you let it go and then I'll try to ride it? It's like riding a bike with no hands. Basically what you have to do. Right? Not a very good position to throw my weight around. You know? Not in a good position to do that. Definitely. Like this.
Feet on the car.
My feet on the ground. See, I can bring it under control if I want to movement, bro.
Going away.
Oh, I'm holding it down. Or I can keep it from going into chaos. Like, what happens if we let it go and we have two blocks underneath here? Restricting data.
Center of
Apparently
the
it stays really
position.
strong. Yeah.
Somebody who knows what it is.
This is assuming that I can keep my back balanced. You know what I'm saying though? You know how we let it go? Like, will it go to chaos if its data is restricted more than this?
Keep it in a narrow range.
Oh, going crazy. Says I need light.
No, just the boat tip narrow range, not.
Well,
I think if I rock it good enough, small, I can get it to go. I don't know. Definitely good last time. It won't do circles like that. Trying to get it oscillating, but it won't do that. You know? It won't oscillate to the point where
unless it goes into those big. You think it's once you get into those big motions,
like that.
the center of plate totally changes, everything. It's not that.
Right, so I'm saying what if you just lock something, let go of it.
What if it stops on this? And this can't do anything with it.
Yeah, that too. That's what I was thinking about originally.
That's why you think about what?
That's what I was thinking about doing originally. Have restricted, like have a bumper, you know?
Did you ever get that shoelace liberated?
You want to tie a rope around it, a loop?
Tie it straight to you.
You tie a loop around the whole thing.
Let's just try it straight from that to that.
Do that too. Go liberate. Tiny.
Man, you going to pilfer?
I was
He's
going to watch
straight.
all this video thing too.
Caught on tape. There he goes, there he goes. Zooming in on pilfering action. Oh, dearie, dearie. There he goes, he's got the shoe. No, no, he doesn't like that. Oh, he's going for the rummage box. Does he find something he likes? Oh, he's searching desperately. Yeah, no,
Notice.
like another failure.
Tim. Tim,
And he's coming back.
Tim,
Oh.
focus on the film. Focus on the water.
Water, we've got water.
Okay. Now I'm going to move it from side to side. And it stays pretty much stable until you hear a popping noise when it gets too calm.
Popping noise? You mean the
Water?
you mean the swishy sound?
Yeah, right there. When it's,
The water pops. Cavitate. You can see the water popping away. See it pop out?
we have to restrict it.
We are now looking at cavitation occurring.
Go some smooth while it's turbulent.
Very slow you think.
Oh, once you get knocked off, it's all like the same. You're not having a good day, sir. Alright, we done here?
Excuse me.
Do you think of anything else you want to isolate?
So we're going to try this thing. You see,
Oh, where did we get this?
if you want this film to be usable,
Stop. Hey,
yeah, you got to not tape everything, or else you'll never get yourself to watch it.
And we're back. Notice the restring. There. Posing limitations. Motion.
Yeah, I'm going to shorten the string a little bit.
Shorten the string.
move the weights in the back. With that huge, those wakes you're putting in.
Yeah, shorten it a little bit more.
A little more short.
Just putting in some interesting whoops to it. But I guess it's, the rower disrupts the flow. But, you know, if you're going to be out on Lake Cayuga.
Oh yeah, that's pretty exciting right there.
Riding the bike.
If you want to get a good shot, you should look at it from some distance so you can see the whole thing. Either get back there so you look down against that wall.
All right, we're going for a zoom.
Digging in the ground a ton. Wow. What we have is about a 1 inch to less play with the string tied onto the back arm. Therefore, it's restricting the range of motion and it's keeping it within a certain range, and it's totally balancing itself. See the whole thing. It's like riding a bike. It's not a static keel, because it can move. I'm going to get closer. You can see better how it's oscillating. There's the connection with the string to the knot. There's Andy's bed. Yeah. Did you lengthen the rope?
What? No, it's just a matter of whether the relative what the neutral position is. Sometimes it just jams against the end of the rope.
You don't want a cruise shell to go down the lake like this, though. Andy, you don't want a cruise shell to go down the lake like this, but a bicycle does that when it's left to roll by itself, right?
Not visibly.
Not visibly?
It's not what I would call stable. Not very stable.
What if you lifted up the back end? What would it do?
trying to lift up the back end and see if it's more stable or less.
Only by one finger.
It seems to reach a stability point, but it's not remarkably better.
Try something a little more radical.
Now this is a new one. Andy's tried to move. He's moved up the cross brace. And he's got it at a deeper angle, testing his theory of quicker response time due to hinge angle. What are you noticing, or nothing, or what?
What am I noticing? It's hard to tell if it's the flat or the wood.
More stable or less?
I guess. A little more stable.
More stable?
Just much more stable.
Are you effectively moving the center of lift back, or no?
No. Dipping at the end. Dipping along it.
It does change the center of lift, doesn't it?
You're going to change the axle too.
Same amount, or what?
Yeah, it's all fixed, so.
No, but like, you're gonna have less wetted, the wetted surface is gonna be different. Notice that by tipping it, it's just the same as the spring because it makes the masses want to stay straight. So,
I believe the camera while you're talking.
oh, there. So by tilt, excuse me. By tilting it forward, it's the same as making a torsional spring in the little gear sprocket thingy there, because as theta deviates from zero, the resistance is greater.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said freaking 2 minutes ago. Trying
Wow,
to take credit.
man.
We'll get
So
that,
if you just
get that fluid phenomenon.
Oh yeah, no. If you had it horizontal and you put a spring in it on either side, then it's the same as tilting it forward, which we think is more stable. And Andy can attest to that.
Yeah, right, whatever.
You just turned off the water. Is that okay? On light.
It's not coming in.
Off
Oh.
field.
Now it's getting a lot easier.
Dip it. So what's stabilizing?
We turned off the water. I had the lens camera cap on. Sorry about that.
See how quickly it changes now as opposed to before. So it's not stable. See how the way to shoot from side to side now, where before they would slow the action.
Alright.
Okay, here to pump off. I'll be tipping around. If I tip it this way, the keel turns to straighten it out. If I tip it this way, it turns to straighten it out. But the whole thing is not all that stable. It's pretty tippy. Jump in the water. Tip it, turn the pump off.
Starting the water up, folks. You can see the fright on Andy's face. Wow, it's going through a little periodic wiggle.
showing us?
Now it's doing it feels like.
You can see how it feels. Sorry, Patrick.
Center lip is very close. The water doesn't drink properly.
You say that again, louder?
The center of lift is very close to the axis. So the water does not straighten it out very much. Just the pendulum does. It's almost a typical response. The water when it's hit there trickles. So I think this is pretty down.
Yeah.
I'm in. Okay. Quit. Put something in this tank. Put something like this on it. So when you sit on it, it falls over. When you turn the water on, it does not fall over.
When I'm sitting in the middle of the tank.
Yeah. Let's skip the boat altogether. Because there's no way you're going to be able to play on a boat this season anyway. I don't think. That's my current proposal. What do you think? This is a simulated boat.
You can put a boat in this.
35 feet in 7 seconds and then 6.7.
First time.
Might ask just for the camera, can you swim, Andy?
Yeah.
He's already been asked if he was going to drown or not.
So, did you hear about the new oars, the new Dreisegacker oars?
No, I haven't heard anything about new Dreisegacker oars. Are they selling new ones?
Well, they're just prototyping some new ones. They're like a third of a step in this direction. And they say they go 2 to 3% faster.
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, each innovation must go at least 2 to 3% faster in order to be an innovation to be accepted widely.
But they really,
Don't stop the camera. This is part of the fun. This goes along with the video when we try to renew the grant. Supreme sacrifice is being suffered.
Please hold on to this. 'Cause I gotta get up to here, and I can't get there from here. Okay. So Paul,
Yes.
the usual blades float. So that's a goal, I think, is to make these just a little lighter.
Yeah, right. The
Ready to
angle,
push off?
the angle looks
Yeah,
okay.
I just as soon get you pushed off and get this done before it gets dark.
Swimming is a possibility.
Well, it's hard at night to find your way back to the dock.
Just yell at anything that
Occurs to me?
yeah,
Oh, it's much faster.
At least
much faster.
2 to 3% faster than the last. On the next pass by, Andy Ruino will attempt a higher speed run, increasing the stroke rating from 16 to 20. sort of like Howard Hughes. You know, had to be his own test pilot.
What's that?
Well, Howard Hughes had to be his own test pilot. See, for
Uh-huh.
the airplanes he built.
But not always, no? Sometimes he crashed.
He crashed. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he crashed several
There
times.
were
Yeah.
first damages and then
He didn't build too many airplanes, and you know. See, Boeing and Douglas, they didn't test fly their own airplanes. They hired somebody very good.
Hey, Bunny. It's Paul. Yeah. I made those oars. To make a better oar.
Make it easier to row faster.
Oh, you made those?
Huh?
Is it your design project?
No,
Mine is
Your design project?
it's his. Andy, do you notice anything from the fins on the metal fins?
The right oar feels totally different from the left, because the left oar is missing its fin.
Oh, it fell off?
Yeah.
All right. So we know the heat glue doesn't work too well in the water then.
So with the fins do something.
Technology, right? They went into it in 1941. Prior to 1941, the bombers, the B-17, which was in existence at that time, the gunners would have to take a clip of shells and put it into a machine gun, fire those 20 shells, reach down and get another clip, bring it up and jam it in again. All the bombers were that way hand loaded. They went into Hughes' factory, Hughes had shells coming out of the ammunition box, belly of an airplane, up through a chute, going into the automatic feed machine gun.
Does it feel like really different?
I'm gonna come by you. I'll come by close to the dock. You can try and film the blade close up. Alright.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have the blade without the lift thing on it.
Come by both directions.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to see the slip of the blade in the water. So if you could hold the camera still when the blade's in the water near you,
All right.
if that's possible.
He was programmed. And he went on to describe all of the little projects that they did for the government, all the little things that they were asked to solve, nose wheel and this problem, and redesign and do this, and then turn it out, and somebody else built it. And he went through the whole thing. And he says, I've been asking not to have to come here. He says, you know, you've asked me a lot of questions. He says, I've told you exactly what's going on. He says, Senator Brewster, he says, what happened to the $5 million that went in a check into your personal account? Was there a unique check? Brewster was
Mike Bunning, fellow Mackey, out for a little entertainment, a little fishing. Mike, good hunter, good fisher.
Is there enough light?
No, there isn't.
Well,
It's calling. Yeah, it's got the light prompt up.